Yeah.
I mean,
you mentioned you had an intense year. I'm maybe not as totally informed about it as other people. But
I'm thrilled you're not doing Weekend Update right now because you would be quite informed. So
Okay.
it's good, yeah.
But were I to ask you about it, I imagine you're in a situation where you can't say much.
Yeah, I mean, what I can say without going too into it is that this year has been full of the highest highs and the lowest lows of my life. And I see so many women around afraid to speak, especially right now, afraid to share their experiences. And fear is by design. It's what keeps us silent. But I also acknowledge that many people don't have the opportunity to speak. So I do feel fortunate that I've been able to. And it's the women who have had the ability to use their voice that's kept me strong and you know, helped me in my belief and my fight for the world to be safer for women and girls. It's a pretty simple thing.
The judge brought down the gavel, and in an instant, Blake Lively's deposition was gone, sealed, vanished from public record like it never even existed. And that left everyone in the courtroom asking the same question: why? What could possibly be so explosive, so damaging that it had to be locked away from public view? Legal experts call it one of Blake's biggest courtroom wins yet, but here's the twist: some believe this isn't about protecting her. They argue the hidden truth could blow this entire case wide open. The moment was surreal. 1 second, reporters were furiously typing, the clack of keyboards filling the air. Sketch artists had pencils mid-stroke. Even the camera shutters were in rhythm. Then silence. The gavel hit, and the judge ordered Blake Lively's testimony sealed immediately. It wasn't just the speed of the ruling, it was the way it froze the room. No recess, no chance for arguments, just sealed. Blake herself barely moved. She leaned toward her attorney, whispered a few quiet words, then stared straight ahead, unblinking, for a full 10 seconds. That subtle reaction spoke volumes to those watching closely. Legal analysts later admitted they had rarely seen such a swift order, and that immediacy told them one thing: this wasn't random, this was calculated. But what detail could possibly justify sealing a Hollywood star's sworn testimony so fast? Behind the scenes, Blake's legal team had been preparing this move for weeks. This wasn't a spontaneous request, it was the endgame of a carefully laid strategy. Their weapon of choice? A phrase judges can't ignore: irreparable harm. In high-profile cases, that phrase carries enormous weight. It suggests damage so severe that no future ruling, no financial payout, no victory could undo it. Blake's team leaned on that phrase hard, painting her testimony as a potential bombshell that could destroy her career, harm her family, and drag third parties into the chaos. And timing was everything. Her attorneys filed an emergency request before the hearing even began. That forced the judge to act immediately, preventing any chance for leaks or press coverage. It wasn't just a legal move. It was a checkmate. But the other side wasn't about to let that slide. Wayfarer's attorneys pushed back with fire. They argued this wasn't about irreparable harm. This was about control. Their point? Blake had already spoken publicly about many of these same issues. She gave interviews, she allowed her team to leak to the press. And now she wanted privacy? To them, sealing the deposition wasn't about protection. It was about hiding contradictions, burying inconvenient truths, and shaping the narrative to her advantage. And that's when the PR machine roared to life. Almost instantly, headlines appeared framing Blake as the victim. Stories about how she was being shamed and harassed flooded outlets. But here's the irony: those stories didn't come from Justin Baldoni's side. They came from Blake's. This wasn't just a legal battle anymore. It was a public relations war. And the secrecy made it even worse. Because when you hide something this aggressively, people don't forget. They get louder. This isn't the first time Hollywood has seen testimony disappear overnight. Years ago, an Oscar winner's rehab details were quietly sealed, leaving only whispers. Another time, a pop star's financial records were erased from filings in less than an hour. And in both cases, the secrecy itself became the story. Because here's the truth: when a judge slams the door, speculation rushes in through the cracks. And that's the danger for Blake. Yes, her lawyers protected her testimony. But the very act of sealing it gave the impression that she had something to hide. It's the Hollywood paradox. Sometimes covering up the truth creates a bigger scandal than letting it out. So what exactly could be in Blake Lively's sealed deposition? Rumors swirl like wildfire. Personal revelations about her family life. Stories she's never shared in glossy magazine interviews. Details that could drag loved ones unwillingly into the spotlight. Confidential business deals, or partnerships that complicate her polished public image as a golden A-lister. Sensitive digital evidence, texts, emails, or private messages. Maybe not directly tied to the case, but admissible once she was under oath. And then there's the insider chatter. People close to the case say Blake's questioning stretched for hours. Thick binders were shuffled. Attorneys traded loaded glances. And more than once, her lawyers interrupted entire lines of questioning. Not just minor objections, but full shutdowns. That suggests something bigger. Something her team couldn't risk reaching the public record. And if that's true, then what's in those transcripts could reshape not just this lawsuit, but her entire reputation. The reaction outside was instant. Within minutes, screenshots of the judge's sealing order spread online. Twitter turned into a conspiracy hub. Hashtags trended. Deposition gate. What did Blake say? And even the mocking protect the queen. Supporters praised her for finally getting privacy after years of paparazzi harassment. Critics accused her of dodging accountability. One viral tweet nailed the mood. If it's harmless, why seal it? Meanwhile, meme accounts had a field day. Fake leaked screenshots, blurry court documents, and red carpet photos with lock emojis flooded Instagram. On Reddit, sprawling threads popped up with supposed first-hand accounts from courtroom spectators. Most were unverifiable, but in this environment, speed always beats accuracy. And then came the celebrity subtweets. A friend of Blake's posted a lock emoji to her Instagram story. A producer she once worked with dropped a zipped mouth emoji on Twitter. No names, no explanations, but enough to send fans into overdrive. Ironically, this frenzy helped Blake. Because when there's no actual transcript, her silence became the strategy. And the mystery itself kept the conversation alive. The court's official reasoning seemed straightforward at first. The ruling claimed the transcript contained information that could cause undue harm and that privacy concerns outweighed public access. But here's the problem. Those phrases are so vague they could mean anything. Undue harm to whom? Blake? Other individuals? The case itself? And privacy concerns is one of the broadest legal umbrellas out there. It can cover everything from protecting minors to shielding embarrassing details. Worse, the ruling never mentioned redactions. Normally, courts release transcripts with sensitive parts blacked out. But here, nothing. Total blackout. That raises two possibilities. Either the sensitive information was so pervasive it couldn't be separated, or they simply didn't try. And that ambiguity pours gasoline on speculation, because people don't stop talking when the door is locked. They start guessing what's behind it. At this point, it's no longer just Blake versus Justin. This is about something bigger. Hollywood power, image control, and the use of the legal system as a shield. For some, the sealing order is proof of how influence works. A regular person's testimony wouldn't vanish like that. For others, it's a legitimate protection against media frenzy and character assassination. But here's the paradox. In trying to protect her image, Blake may have guaranteed the opposite. Because now the only thing people know for sure is that there's something they don't know. And curiosity is a wildfire. Every unanswered question fuels another theory. Every rumor gets louder. Every silence feels like confirmation. The law might have closed the file, but the public hasn't. And in the end, this sealed deposition may haunt Blake's career longer than the testimony ever could have. So was this sealing order a genuine matter of legal necessity, or a carefully executed cover-up? That's the question hanging over this case. And until the truth surfaces, if it ever does, Blake Lively stands as both the most protected and the most questioned figure in Hollywood's most explosive legal battle. Because one thing is certain, the gavel might have silenced the courtroom, but outside those walls, the conversation is just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe.